This just in, Donald Trump is pissed off with Australia. Let me explain. Recently, he announced that he will put and I quote, a 200% tariff on pharmaceuticals coming from Australia. Now, this comes right after Australia announces that Albanese, our Prime Minister, will be going to China to make trade deals with China. He will spend several days in China. I don't know whether these two have any connections or whether they're a coincidence, but they just came together. And let me tell you, like, people say Australia is cooked, blah, blah, blah. We're not. Australia's not cooked. I'm absolutely telling you, the US is not the only market.
Donald Trump is choosing war with any country based on his feelings. So recently he actually hit Brazil with a tax base of actually over tariff of actually 50%. But the rationale is that Brazil jailed or imprisoned the former president, who I think was one of the buddies of Donald Trump. So for them to actually, be given lesser tariff, they have to release the former president. But the reason that actually the former president was, jailed or imprisoned, it's beyond, it's beyond his nose, because why is he going to meddle in other people's affairs? Because when he was campaigning, he campaigned with the promise of making America great again. So it was 100% focus on American issues. It was 100% focus on the lives of America. It's the 100% focus on making America, great again. But here is the man now actually hitting other countries with tariffs based on his feelings. When he was asked sometimes back on the basis he used to calculate his tariffs, he said, it's common sense. So it's about the feelings, He sits like, I don't hate this country, so I'm going to give it 200%. Now, he has given Australia a 200% tax or tariffs based on their goods. And, the last time he posed the tariffs for 90%, for 90 days. Now I think it's going to be taken into effective the reassumption of tariffs or tariffing other countries. So that's why we saw, I think, some of these African presidents who went to the White House to actually discuss some trade deals, because even these Africans or the African president saw that this man is just beyond comprehension. They don't handle him, so it's better to go and lick him toes before they are hit with 200%. Because when you receive an invite to the State House, and I think you refuse to go to lick Donald Trump's toes, you'll be hit with tariff, because this is one person that didn't have any base of actually issuing tariffs. And you have seen these tariffs have actually been not working. They have proved to be not working from the past. From the first time he said them, it wasn't good. It didn't perform well. Americans were suffering. The American ports were empty. He even forced to negotiate with China on some basis, because at first he was just bragging that China, they really want bad to kiss my, so that I can lower their tariffs. But it wasn't the case. At the end of the day, it was forced for the Americans to actually go to reach China, because China's were thriving. Now this one is taxing or is giving or slapping Australia with the 200% tariff? Based on what? Feelings, because I think Australia's pharmaceutical companies, I think they're not kissing Donald Trump ass now. They want to be actually not given 200 tariffs.
So now Donald Trump approval rating for the middle class has declined the record low over a period of long time. Actually, this has never happened before, and it's happening because the middle class feels like Donald Trump is not working on the best of his best of their interests. Donald Trump is leading the American people based on his feeling. When he was during 2016 presidential debate, Republican debate, he said like they have no choice but to actually move on with the tax cut for the rich. And who gonna pay more? Those are the low income earners. And the same is happening today. I was reading somewhere, like in 2024, the approval rating, in 2020, the approval rating of people earning between 50,000 to 100,000 who voted for Trump were 56%. Who also Democrats who actually, after, he won the election. Now, it has dropped. In May, 44% of mid-income earners approved for Trump's job performance, while 52% disapproved, giving him a net of -8 points. Then by June, the gap had increased significantly, with approval ticking up to 49% and disapproval dropping to 48%, bringing its net approval to -1 point. The best level he'd seen with this group in months. Now, things were boiling up. The middle income earners who earn between, that is 50,000 to 100,000 income bracket, approve of Trump, while 56% disapprove. Who approved? 42%. They approve his day is actually, performance. They rated him at 42%, but 56% disapproved, which reduced a record level of actually -14 points. Why? Why is this backlash actually happening to Donald Trump? This is because he signed the big beautiful bill, which is expected to actually bring result in harsh economic prices. Big beautiful bill, people expect it will squeeze families, by approving safety net programs and reshaping tax spending priorities. So it's expected that the federal deficit will hit 3.4 trillion, despite slashing around 1.1 trillion in health care spending and causing 11.8 million people to lose Medicaid coverage over the same period. So this one is actually, dropping. There's a rise in cost of living. The feeling it's impacting most people, both at the pocket and the family level. That's one. Another problem where this administration is. And that's why I think I've read this and say this guy is actually ruling with feeling. Now I think I was reading some articles that he is actually, hitting Mexico and Canada with 30% tariffs. So you're left to wonder. Okay, at first there were tariffs you posed. What did you achieve from that? And that's why I think people feel like China, in Africa or in Swahili you say kiboko yao, which is the father of all. China is the only country that makes America bow on its knees. Now, where are the grocery? Okay, the grocery prices have they reduced? No, they're up. Let's talk about electricity bill. Have they reduced? No, they're up. Let's talk about fuel. Is it up or down? Up. You know. So this is the kind of government,